Welcome back, Freshwater Fishing Novice's new viewers. I was thinking about a problem I had when I first started fishing. It wasn't really a problem, but I was going out and fishing with soft plastics, worms and craws on just a hook, an extra wide gap hook. But then what I was doing, I was going home and I was watching videos on how to, learning how to fish to get better at fishing. And inevitably, I would see other anglers on YouTube frog fishing. And I was like, oh, frog fishing. What's the deal with the frog fishing there? And it looked very interesting. It looked exciting because it is. So I bought some frogs. Now, the only problem with that is that as a novice at that time, I only had a medium spinning rod. And I didn't know that that is not the proper equipment to throw a frog on. So after trying to throw a hollow body frog on a medium fishing spinning rod with 10-pound fluorocarbon, I realized that's not the jam. There is a way you can get away with it. If you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to show you a hollow body frog you can use on your medium rod with 10 to 12-pound fluorocarbon. But right now we're going to talk about frogs. First, the gear. Obviously, you can't use your medium rod. I just covered that. What you're going to need is you're going to need a bait caster. You're going to need a heavy power. You need the backbone for the rod to set the hook. You also are going to need 50 to 60-pound braid to saw through vegetation once you actually get a fish, because the fish might not be able to pull 60 pounds. That's not the problem. That's not why you need the line. You need the line to get fish out of the vegetation that you're trying to pull this heavy fish out of, and two, in heavy cover. So you need a heavy rod, heavy line, heavy hooks on your frogs. After I got that around my head, now I'm looking at frogs and I don't know the difference of frogs. So that's what this video is really about. What are the difference between these silly hollow body frogs and what should you be using? So that's the point of this video. Let's talk about the 3 different types of frogs. You'll see different types of frogs. This one, you'll see one with legs. I'm sure you've seen these if you're in the store looking around. And you might see this type too. The other thing I'm going to be doing at the end of the video is I'll be showing you and you my favorite hollow body frogs, why I like them, and if you should consider using those hollow body frogs before any other hollow body. I have quite a few of them. I counted, I think I have 33 or 34 frogs total, and that's not including the ones that I've thrown away in the past or lost. Now let's talk about the specific differences, or the specific 3 different types of frogs you can get. Start with the one you've probably seen the most of in videos if you've seen them. It's going to be maybe not this color. These colors are just the ones I picked just out of my 32 or 34 frog. This one is a walking frog. Is that what it's called? Yeah, this is a walking frog, hollow body frog. The main differences in these frogs are shape. Shape is the most important thing. So you're going to be looking at these critically right now in this video. I'm going to have pictures popping up of these frogs that I'm holding in my hand right now. This is a Spro Bronzeye. Yeah, this is a Dean Rojas Bronzeye. That's all this is. 60 millimeter. And this one is 2.5 inches long from the nose to the butt, not including the leg. So that is 2.5 inches right here. We're going to look at the belly shape. So if you look at it straight on in this picture right here, you can see it's got a narrow nose, and this lure you're going to need, it's the walk the dog lure. So it's going to be that back and forth action you've seen on TV, typically in open water or over sparse vegetation, light grass, tickle on the top, stuff like that, not over super heavy pads. You're going to walk this more on the edge of pads or in open pockets in pads. That's where you're going to use the walking lure. Basically, the shape is more angular, almost like the bottom of your kayak or a boat on the walking frogs. Pay attention to that part, and the more pointy nose. How this is kind of tapered down like this, so that way it kind of rocks like this. It'll roll a little bit like that. Anyway, that is a walking frog. Next type of frog is going to be a kicking frog. Now, kicking frog is going to have kicking legs on the back, popping up right here. You can see it. So check this out. If you look at the bottom of the frog, as opposed to the rounded part of the walking frog on your left right now, this one, the pink frog, you can see the belly bows out in the bottom. Now, if you look at the belly on this kicking frog, it's flat. Now, that's what you're looking for. I mean, you'll be able to tell from the kicking feet that it's a kicking frog, but it should also be flat on the bottom. Now, this is for pulling it over heavy vegetation, like really thick pads. And what I do is I also throw this in open water or on the edge of pads because it kicks. It makes a lot of disturbance, kind of like a prop bait or a whopper plopper. This pulls over pads very easy, so you can just pull it straight over those heavy pads. And I believe this is even called the pad crasher. Scum Frog makes this one. You're looking for those kicking feet and that flat bottom. Yeah, It's just designed to throw into heavy vegetation because it's going to slide over the top of it with that flat belly. It's not, you're not walking it, you're just retrieving. Okay, so that's the kicking frog. And the last frog style is a popping frog. Now, if you know what a popper is, pop the popper right here. Similar to the popper, it is a hollow body frog with a little cupped mouth. So you're going to be paying attention. You'll see it also has a bowed stomach, so it can cut back and forth for that walk the dog action. But the intention of a popping frog is to make disturbance, cause disturbance, make a splash and a pop. Basically what it's imitating a frog eating on top of the water or a bait fish fleeing. The main purpose of the cup of the mouth on the popping frog is to create commotion and get the fish's attention. A more open section of water because you want to be able to push some of that water, so you don't want too much vegetation. Okay, that was a little vague. Let's see if we can tighten this up with some retrieval tips on how to retrieve your frog. All right, so for the popper frog, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do very short, sharp pops to get that water to pop and spurt and make a loud sound. We're trying to get the loudest pop out of this popper off the water. Pop! It doesn't sound like a pop like you're popping a balloon, but it sounds like a pop when you hear it. We covered the popper, now let's jump to the walking lure. So we got our walking hollow body frog. So what you're gonna practice is the classic slack line retrieve or walk the dog action. You're going to have slack line, you're going to pop it, and then you're going to immediately reel up the slack you just created from your pop or your twitch to get this frog to walk. So you twitch it, you reel, 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 and it's almost a drum like reaction. You're tapping, reeling, tapping, reeling, tapping, reeling, tapping, reeling. So it's a rhythm you're going to get down. And the only problem is that when the fish blows up on it, you're going to be used to that fast rhythm, and then you're going to have to put the brakes on and slow down. Yeah. So that's the walking lure. I'm making it sound very simple, and this took a lot of time to get used to. Walking the dog on the frog. I don't know why I like that. Kicking frog. This one's fun. You don't have to have the walk the dog action or popping action with this one. All you have to do is toss this out and I'll mess with the retrieve. I'll go fast, so they're kicking really rapidly, or I'll slow it down, or I'll do like pauses and chug, 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 you know, like change up my retrieve on this. I really play around with this one, and all you're doing is reeling. So you don't have to do any of this tapping stuff. You can just reel it and it's going to come through the water. So it's a little bit easier for novice anglers when you first start frog fishing. If you get those kicking legs, you'll like those a lot better. Yeah, I've been known to pop these in, like I'll put them in pads and like really heavy cover. I'll pop it into an open pocket of water, and then I'll give it a quick run to make the feet kick, and I'll stop it right on the edge of the other pad so the feet are hanging off like this, and I'll let it sit and see if a fish will just come up and get it, and give it some time. Sometimes fish will just pull it under. What we're all looking for though is that crazy huge topwater explosion. That's why frog fishing is awesome. Someone told me I should stress this when you do get a blow up on a frog fish. If you're walking the dog, you're going quick, then you got to slow down when the fish blows up. Let's talk about the bite and when you set the hook. This is an important thing that needs to be stressed. I'm sure I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. You might be going fast, but when you see that explosion, stop moving, point to the fish with the reel in the rod. Don't do anything. And you're going to wait. You're going to wait a couple seconds at least 2 seconds. I saw another YouTuber made a video, and he had underwater footage of a fish grabbing that frog and holding onto it for 6 seconds before he even decided to set the hook. He had a timer and everything. So you want to let that fish grab the lure. And here's my novice take on it. When you're out there fishing with just a worm, we've all fished with a worm, a soft plastic worm, on a hook. Toss it out. You're sitting there like this. Here's my question. Do you personally set the hook when you see the fish hit that worm, or do you set the hook when you feel pressure from the fish grabbing the lure and moving? Personally, I don't set my worm hooks unless I feel tension on that line from a fish. I'm not there just swinging, thinking there's a fish looking at it, almost about to bite it. You wait till there's pressure. In my head, my theory is the same thing applies to frog fishing. So if you're working this thing across the water and the fish blows up and just hits it, and then it lands upside down, you're not going to set the hook, but you have to have a visible frog to be able to see that. If you get a frog that blends in with everything, how the hell are you going to see it unless you have really, one, good eyes or good sunglasses? So I kind of like the bright frogs so I can see where the heck they are. It's my theory that you shouldn't set the hook on a frog until you feel pressure from that fish holding it in its mouth. Okay, that's enough of the learning part of this video. Now let's get on to the real stuff, the stuff you want to know. Since I have so many frogs, you might be saying, you probably have a couple favorite frogs. I do have a couple favorite frogs. And my favorite frogs aren't even frogs. They're the frogs I found when I was first starting, and they actually worked for me. I was able to walk the dog with them. First hollow body frog wasn't even a hollow body frog. It was the live target sunfish. And this thing sits on its back, you tie it on, and it just rotates on this very large flat surface, which is still a little rounded, so it kind of rocks a little bit, but you can get that into some spots. And I did boil this just to loosen up the plastic to make it softer. I think I boiled it for 10 or 12 minutes. I made a video on boiling frogs if you want to see that. That one will always be one of my favorites. It's not that Live Target always makes good stuff, but this, I will stand behind this this lure. The hookup ratio isn't as good as you would think. You can bend the hooks up, but then you might start grabbing some pads. So I don't know. You can do that if you want, I guess. The second lure is also a Live Target lure. I had a ton of success on this one. I will stand by this one. My Uncle Dan has caught and fish on this one. But it is another Live Target, and it's the field mouse. Now, you might be saying this is a lot of Live Target lures. This one, you can really get a lot of real estate on it. It's very soft. It's not just Live Target I like. These two specifically really walk well. If you're new to walking the dog on a hollow body, those two specifically are very easy to walk. Another one I picked up that I saw Tactical Bassin talking about was talking about going super big. And this is the Dean Rojas Bronzeye King Daddy 90. It's 90 millimeters. This is in like a yellowy color, chartreusey. This one, from top to bottom, 3 3/4 from nose to butt. That's a big lure. I haven't thrown this yet. I've been looking at it for all last year since I saw Tactical Bassin's video. Finally, I just ordered it right from Spro. I ordered 2 of them. I got this lighter color, more natural, supposedly. And I also got a jet black one. This is a 1 ounce frog. This should trigger only large bass, but I'm interested to see how it works. I'm not standing behind it. I'm just saying someone else told me to throw it. So just like you, I'm watching other people trying to figure out what to throw. I just wanted to show off a giant lure. That's really what I wanted to do. What I realized is it's not much longer than the field mouse, but the profile is bigger. Like this could fit inside this. Yeah, it is a little bigger. And I have had success with this, so I expect to have similar success with that large bronzeye frog. Here's the part. Should I tell you that I don't even use popping frogs? Ever? Never? The frogs I use are the hollow bodies, basically that field mouse, the sunfish, and there's other frogs I know how to walk now, but it's taken me a while. That kicking frog is always in play. Now, you might be saying I don't want to get a bait casting rod. Totally fine, I get it. I didn't have a bait caster for 4 or 5 years before I forced myself to learn. For you guys, and for me. Because I wanted to throw bigger stuff. Little bit of quid pro quo there. If you have a medium or a medium heavy spinning rod, I found a lure you can throw. You're not going to be able to throw it on fluorocarbon like I said earlier in the video. I don't know why the hell I said that. What I meant to say is you could probably get away with a medium heavy spinning rod with 15-pound braid, and this very teeny, same, this is a Live Target field mouse, but it's a very small size. Now where is Mirula? Here it is. This one comes in at just 2 1/4. It's not even 2.5 inches long. That is bite size. That's small. I would say with a medium heavy rod and 15-pound braid, as long as it's like a fast action rod, because you want that backbone. You don't want it to be moderate and bend right over. You want something fast, extra fast maybe. You shouldn't have a problem. That teeny little field mouse, if you're just looking to get into it, you've never frog fished before. I can't remember how much these cost. Let me look it up real quick. But the small one, the 60, $12.99. So not too bad. You're not going to lose your frog unless you snap that braid or your whole rod goes in the water. If you're interested in trying frog fishing this season, freshwater fishing novices, you don't have to worry about getting in it too early in the season, because frog fishing doesn't happen until there's really pads. Okay, new viewers, freshwater fishing novices, returning viewers, all my loyal subscribers, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was helpful and you learned something about fishing. Did you learn anything different that you didn't know about frog fishing? Or maybe you didn't know any of this? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to know if you did pick up anything new from, hopefully, this educational video. If you did learn something new, you can always give me a thumbs up, a like button. It's free, it's quick, you don't have to leave a comment. And if you're not subscribed, I don't know why, it's free as well. You can learn more about fishing from another novice. Thanks for watching this week. I hope you guys have a great weekend, night, day, whatever time you're watching this video. I appreciate you guys watching my video. Stay warm, stay safe, be chill, just think about fishing. I'll catch you guys next week.